Hey guys and girls, welcome to this week's episode of the No BS with Birchy podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Birch. This is a show unraveling the truth to the facade of the 21st century. We're now exiting the matrix and waking up to motherfucking reality. That intro never gets old. I love saying it. I don't know. It's just fun. Today, I have a special guest, Dylan Cincotta. Dylan, thanks for coming to chat and be on the podcast.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Awesome. I'll let Dylan give the bit of the background. I'll give you just like 20 seconds about Dylan. But I've got a question. When you first saw me on whatever show it was, I think it was The Project or something like 10 years ago. Yeah. Did you think, I'll be sitting on a podcast talking about my property portfolio there?
No, I didn't think that at all.
There we go.
But yeah, it was about nearly 10 years ago, I think now. Yeah. 15, 16.
So you were 15 years old also?
Yeah, about roughly. 15, yeah.
And you saw me on a TV show talking about property portfolio.
Yeah.
I probably look like a wanker with
the project
car or something. Yeah. Cash flow plays.
150 properties. So 150 properties. This is pretty cool. I gotta see what this is all about.
And what? So you saw that. What do you think? What was your action at 15 as a 15-year-old? What were you thinking?
At the time, I was working at KFC.
Yeah. Okay.
I used to work all night for about $50-$60.
There we go.
It's like, shit, how am I going to buy a property on this money?
Yeah.
And then after seeing you, I quit my job at KFC and started working at Woolies and had a few jobs going at the same time. Yeah.
I remember that, yeah.
And then started an apprenticeship. I left school.
Yeah.
I was just doing everything I could.
Yeah.
I was working, 80, 90 hours a week.
Yeah.
Like physically at work, 80, 90 hours, like paid hours.
Yeah.
For like $1,000.
Yeah.
It was hard.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And so you did that. So just for the viewers, like, Dylan, how many properties do you have now and how old are you?
25.
Yeah.
With 17.
17 properties. He's humble, very humble, right? And when did you buy your first one? And we'll go step it out like the time frame from that. So you bought when you were 18?
Yeah. So signed as soon as I was 18.
Yeah.
So saved, hustled to get that first deposit together.
Yeah.
Got the first one at 18.
Yeah. Didn't
really all go to plan.
It was a block of land.
Yeah. But
yeah.
We ended up having to sell that and move on.
Yeah. And
then what else? After that, I couldn't service.
Yeah.
Lending changed a bit.
Yeah.
And then
you set up
I lost my job.
Yeah.
So like this is all the time when COVID was happening. So yeah, wasn't working for a little bit.
And you're based in Melbourne.
A couple of months, yeah.
So you got fucking pumped.
We got hammered.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
Yeah.
Stay inside.
Stay inside. Yeah.
And then, so I didn't know what to do because like there was no jobs going at the time.
Yeah.
So I decided to start a business.
Yeah.
And shit, you sign up to a lot of shit.
When you set up a business?
Yeah. There's a lot of shit you learn along the way, and servicing's no good for a couple of years as well. And so the first few years weren't that good. Like they were right, like a lot of learning.
Yeah.
But like your earnings aren't as good because you're still trying to put it all together and work out, your contacts and get better at it.
Yeah.
But then, after 2 years, I was able to service. Yeah. And then we started buying.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago now. So it's taken 2 years to get to the 17.
Yeah.
Pretty much to the day, just maybe 26 months.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And I remember like one of the funniest things, right? Because I'm like, okay, Dylan's going to get like, I'll just step it out, right? Like, it's like you bought like 2 and then you bought like another 2 and you're like, I want to get there faster. I see these people on YouTube. I see your clients that are like, I want to get 20. Give me 20. I'm doing everything I can. I'm working hard on my business. I'm doing 100 hours a week, all that sort of shit. You're like, get me more. And then I was like, yeah, but we got to overcome the hurdle for finance. We've got to overcome the tax year and all those sorts of things. And we went to second tier lenders. Then we went to go first tier lenders.
Yeah.
Pull the equity away, and you to get to the 17, you had it took you maybe like 18 months to get to like 10 or so, and then you just bought 7 in like 2 months or so. Yeah,
last few months.
Yeah.
But even like in that first year, I got to 6, I think.
Yeah,
something around there.
Yeah,
and it was the financial year.
Yeah.
and I wasn't earning enough because I was going off the last few years.
Yeah.
So I was like, shit, I got to earn more money. I was just working day and night, you know, you could just to get that earnings up.
Yeah.
Then that was all right. It got me through the next year.
Yeah.
But then there's always the challenge of finance and all the other stuff that comes with it to make it work.
Yeah. I've got a mate that says to me, like on a random project that I have with him, schoolmate, and I was like, hurry up, it's to do with electronics. And he's like, I'm like, hurry up, make this thing work, right? Get it working. And he's like, mate, nothing worthwhile ever becomes easy, right? If it's easy, everyone will be doing it. And it's like, there's challenges along the way, and it's like learnings and teachings and shit you didn't sign up for in your business, shit you didn't sign up for in your portfolio.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you know, to get the portfolio, how many times do you reckon you've gone and pulled equity out of your properties to get there?
Bunch of times,
yeah.
Some properties, like if you're talking about the first property, it's probably been refinanced 3-4 times.
But you couldn't get the equity to start off with, yeah?
Yeah. So like sometimes then there was equity and then you don't service it. Like there's always just this balancing act.
Yeah.
You always got to earn more.
Yeah.
You always like thinking, you know, like how do I earn more, like through business or other ways, like not just the rent, you know.
Yeah.
But it helps when you boost the rents up as well.
Yeah.
Like now you got a whole bunch to boost.
Out of the 7 that you just purchased, have you put any rents up yet, or are they in leases, or?
Yeah, there was a few that got put up straight away.
How far into rent do you reckon they were?
Maybe like 3 or 4 of them got put up, like maybe about $50, maybe $170, maybe $140.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. People don't
The average rent increase is probably around, I'd say anywhere to 50 to 70.
Yeah.
Some are a bit more, some are a bit less. You get on a roll sometimes, you know, you're putting them all up and you're like, shit, this is cool. And then you get one that maybe isn't going up and you're like, oh, what's going on here?
Oh, so done. Go on. Just push it harder.
So good.
So if you just think about that, like 17 properties, right? Let's say I'm just going to make up some scenarios here. Like if someone has 17 and their neutral cash flow, just hypothetically, 17 properties and you push them up by $50 a week, that's an extra $850 a week income, right? That's like 40 grand a year just by pushing it in those parameters. And you've taken the debt, like I'm not even going to go into your specifics of your portfolio, but I'm just going to say, like, hypothetically, if someone had 2 million or 4 million, let's say $4 million in debt, someone had $4 million worth of debt and the interest rates dropped by 1%, that's 40 grand a year you'd be saving, right? Interest rates just dropped 0.25% the other week, and the interest rate dropping 0.25%, someone, if they had 3 mil or 4, let's say 4 because it's a very square number, that'd be 10 grand a year, $200 a week better off. So when you're building that portfolio, and you'll see this come more to fruition in the not too distant future, is that the numbers will expand from a cash flow perspective from rate drops and rent increases. Mad.
Yeah. It's cool. Yeah. Sometimes I play around with it in the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Just change the interest rate 1% or 0.5%.
Yeah, how good's that?
Watch it change.
Yeah.
It's cool.
That's where we need to get
shit,
to.
That's a year of
savings or work of someone.
Like a salary, like that's a whole year's wage, like just with a little tweak.
Yeah.
Put up a few rents, drop the rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool.
And we'll talk about it beforehand, right? People catching a train every day of the week, going to a job. Like it didn't come easy to build the portfolio. There's been sacrifices, and I'll ask you some of the things along the way that you've had to sacrifice, if you had to sacrifice or whatever shortly. But like people have to sacrifice 40 years of their life generally to go and earn 50 grand, 60 grand, 70 grand a year. You're just in there going, oh, rent increase here, rent increase there. Hey, bank, give me a rate cut here. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely been sacrifices.
Yeah.
I think living below like your means, as far as like when you turn 18, you want a better car, you want all this thing, like, you might have the money to do it, but it's like, it's not the smartest decision. Even now, like there's shit that I want to buy or do, and it's like, it's not the smartest thing. It's not going to get me to where I want to go, Yeah. So you put these things off. Like my first car, I think it was $500 or $1,000.
How was that?
It was like just a bomb. Then my second car was not much better. It was probably $1,000 as well.
We've all got mates. I've got mates that have got like flashy cars, and it's like, where's your assets? It's like, oh no, that's too like, oh, just check out my car, right? And it's like, I want to check out the assets. It's like everyone's position is different. It doesn't come without sacrifice. And I'm going to get into sacrifice in a minute, but before we do that, what was your initial motivation? Did you have, like, if you think back to 15 years old, saw me on the project or whatever it is, what were you thinking, like, fuck, I want to do what Birchy's doing here? Like, is it like not working?
Yeah.
Work?
Would have been like working, because at the time,
yeah,
like I was saying, I'd work at KFC, wash dishes, cook chicken all night for $50. I was thinking, shit, this can't be good. This can't be good for 40 years.
Where do I go from here?
It's like you're like the spark, opened it up, and I really, feel like I've been pushing so hard ever since.
You have fun.
Yeah, you're a bit of an inspiration to me. And
pleasure, mate. That's cool. And on the sacrifice, like, so what, if you had to think, like, you got your car as a sacrifice, is there any other sacrifices, like going out partying?
Yeah, I didn't party too much.
No? Okay.
Eating out, something that I never used to really do too much.
Okay.
You always just save money where you can, like if you could eat a cheaper lunch or
Well, nice.
There was plenty of things, what we saved. Shoot, like you want to go buy new clothes or something, like put it off. Yeah, it's just heaps of
staple the socks back together.
Yeah, I didn't go that far.
I did back in the day.
Like it wasn't like rough, but it was just like putting off those things that are unnecessary at the time. You know, I'd rather have a property or something instead of, better car.
Yeah.
We want it all, but in the right order,
Yeah. I think when you get to the other side and you get it, like, it's very easy. Like, I've had cool cars and shit cars. I've driven the $500 cars after having $250,000 cars and stuff like that. And I look at it like a Lambo could become a Ford Falcon, right? Like, after you're driving it, it's just like, it just becomes normal and you don't know the difference, right? And it's like, there's no benefit from having those cool things. But when you do get there and you know that, fuck, I've sacrificed and I've had to eat a lot of shit to get here, it becomes more, it's like a hard day's work, not eating, and you go home and like, I love this meal, right? If you had a big lunch, you'd be like, oh yeah, it's okay, but when you've really earned it, you're like, it's
more fulfilling.
More fulfilling, yeah. I remember when I was always in the media, people would write in the comments, oh, it must be mum and dad's money, all that sort of stuff. Oh, yeah, it's good to have a handout like that. People have excuses and go like, well, Dylan had it easy or some way. And I'm really excited that you're sharing, and thanks for sharing. Like, you fucking ate $10 at KFC, you ate at home, you had to thug it out with your business and all that sort of stuff. Like, where do you, like, I'm asking, where do you live? But like, do you live by yourself? Do you have a fucking mansion you live in? Like, what?
Live with the parents.
With the parents, right?
All these rentals, but still at home.
17 properties to live with mum and dad, right? Have they helped you with money and giving you $500,000 to start off with?
They're giving me nothing.
Give you nothing, yeah.
Like, it's always been a nice household to grow up in. Like, it's just standard sort of living, it's nothing beyond our means, but
I know your parents, right? And you've grown in a humble, hardworking environment where you got a roof and 3 square meals a day would be my view of you growing up.
Yeah, there was no handouts.
Yeah, there you go. Just for the record, everyone. So with your journey, like your first one, like where you got the land but you couldn't build because you couldn't service for it, like, that was an issue with the bank. Every time I feel like you've had adversity, it's always come from the bank giving you money. Yeah. Is there any thoughts looking back to go, how do you present yourself best to the bank, or like?
I feel like a lot of the time when you just go to the bank, they just want to see how much you're making, and that's what it just feels like every time. Yeah. And if they're saying no, it's because you don't make enough. Like, whatever the situation, there was always an excuse. The bank gives you something, but I feel like every time it's just because you're not making enough. Yeah.
And we've taken you to banks, and one bank will say, nah, Dylan, not today, mate.
Yeah.
And you've got to another bank and they'll be like, oh, come straight in, right? Here's a seat. Let's make something happen, yeah?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely the team.
Yeah.
You couldn't do it with the team around you.
Yeah.
Big Zinger is great in what they do.
Just before in the office, I took Dylan in the office and I was like, here's the finance team, here's your broker support and here's your broker and whatnot. And Dylan's like, the most interaction that I have with B.Invested is with the Zinger finance team. And I think that's because without the money, you can't do the deal, right?
Yeah. I reckon every few days, or if not every day.
Yeah.
I'm in touch with Zinger. There's always something. Like if you're not in the middle of doing loans, it's like, let's get the next one. Even like when there is loans happening, I'm pushing to like, let's start the process for the next one, because it's like, you can see like this one's all pretty much done. We've got all approval, so start working on the next thing. Because
the first thing that you said to Ravan in the office today, he goes, "Oh, lovely to meet you." He goes, "Where's my equity?" And I was thinking, fuck, just this morning I signed a management agreement because I'm the licensee of the property management firm that we have. And I signed the agency agreement for one that settled just recently. And it's like, it's just settled. And he's like, "Hey, let's get more equity out of it. Let's go again." And the team are like, "Oh, give me a little bit." Like, yeah.
It's the hustle.
It's the hustle, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it's... Sorry?
I had a goal to get 20.
Yeah.
At the end of last year, I got close.
Yeah.
I'm going to get there this year.
Yeah. Do you think that it's been easier or harder than what you thought it would start out to be?
It's definitely like hard. I think it's like keeping that like tunnel vision, like there's light at the end of the tunnel. Like, but in day-to-day life, it's very hard. Like you're working and
there's hurdles, right? And like, I think I'm always very proud of you when we catch up, because I'm like, I can see, I know that there's no handers. I know that you're doing everything you can do. Like some people, they can do 20 properties in a year, right? And they do one every second year, right?
Yeah.
And you got Dylan, and it's like, okay, Dylan should be doing 3 a year, right? But he's like, fuck, I want to get to 10 a year, right? How do I get the next one out, right? And if we really look at the portfolio, it's been 26 months, 2 years to get us to 17, right? Like, you're only 25 years old. Imagine what you're going to be when you're 30, and you're going to be fucking savage, right? It's great.
Yeah.
So that's cool. With your first deposit, like when you came to us, like, and this is just put in perspective, right? Like Dylan isn't out here going, I earn $1 million a year or $500,000. Is he? What sort of business are you in? Would you mind me asking? What sort of
carpentry.
Business? Carpentry. He's carpentry, right? He's a tradie, right? So he's not, drive around Lambos with $1 million incomes and all that sort of shit, right? No. We'll work you to get there, right? Like you're going to push yourself to get there. But how much did you come to the table with 26 months ago as a deposit to start with the first couple?
I think I would have had about 150.
150.
Yeah. That got me my first 3.
Yeah.
Then like you keep working to save the deposits. But then I feel like it gets easier as you get along.
Yeah.
It's different issues. Like first it was like you got to save to get it. Now you can pull some equity. Like you don't have to.
Then you need to have the cash flow to get the equity out.
Yeah, then but you still need to work. Like it's not like, hang on, I'm getting the deposit like out of equity now, because to get the equity you need to be earning enough to keep pulling. So That's
good. That's good. So 150K. People will be sitting here watching Dylan going, "Oh, that sounds good. You got 150K." There's people who will come into our office and they buy properties and they got no money in their account, but they've got a property they paid $400,000 for that's now worth $600,000. They've got 150K equity in it, right? So people don't realize what they have when they come in, and how, people thinking, like in Sydney, I'll ask Dylan before, how much do you reckon something's worth around the area? I'm like, these little townhouses are like 3-4 mil for a little house, no eaves. But people would think to buy a little house or a unit, you need to have $200,000 in deposit saved, everything's $1 million or whatnot. Do you remember what the first one was? How much you paid for it?
Yeah, it was in Sydney.
Okay.
I think it was 327.
Okay.
So
and how much do you reckon it's worth now?
Probably about mid 400s.
Yeah, I'd say too. I think it's the one closer towards the city, like a red brick shitty old thing. Yeah, closer to the city. Yeah.
The rent on that was pretty cool. Like I think when we bought it was at 280, I think, a week.
Yeah.
And now it's at like 520 off the top of my head.
There we go.
Yeah.
2 years ago, some dumbass was renting their property for 280. The agent was renting it at too cheap. That would have affected the sale price. If the old owner got 520 a week for that, they wouldn't have sold it to you for 320, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And what would have been the next two prices? Do you remember what they were, which properties were?
Yeah, there was another one in Sydney.
Yeah.
One in Queensland.
Okay.
Queensland one was pretty cool.
How much was that?
Paid 210.
Okay.
210 or 215. I
Yeah.
can't remember off the top of my head.
What's it worth now?
It's probably about 420.
There we
I have
go.
agents calling me all the time, like trying to sell it.
There we go.
It's like,
Where's that one? Like, what's that? What area? What region?
uh,
Just the region of it. Yeah.
it's like in Brisbane area.
Brisbane area. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. There we go. That's cool, right? Double in 2 years. People say, "Oh, it's impossible."
Cool.
Right? Yeah. Cool. And so your rents have gone up, doubled. Your properties, some of them are doubled. Yeah. Do you have a favourite property?
Probably that one.
That one.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. There's been a few that have gone up like
Yeah.
beyond 50%, you know, like
Yeah.
not quite doubled yet, but
Yeah.
I think any return like that in 12 months, 24 months, like it's not like I've owned them all for 24 months.
Exactly.
It's like been
A year.
getting
or
them along
6
the way,
months,
you know.
3
yeah.
months.
Yeah. But they're all doing great. Like
Cool.
I don't have one where I'm like, shit, I shouldn't have bought
Bought
that.
that one. Okay.
Nah,
That's cool.
they're all good.
And like investing in a property, like we're just sitting here talking about it like we're ordering lunch, right? Like, oh, fucking 2 hamburgers, a bag of chips, and 6 fish cocktails, right? But what, like, it sounds easy, and it is when you're focused and committed on it, right? But is it like there's hurdles? I think it's important. Always like hearing people's hurdles that they've come across, like a tenant fucking them up, trash property, stuff like. Have you had anything that's gone bad? Like, what would that be? Would be the worst?
Nothing too like bad. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say it's happened, but there's always a oven here or
Yeah,
leaks, like just general like maintenance for the property. Like there's always
Yeah.
going to be
yeah,
crap going on, you know.
yeah.
The worst one was like a tenant kind of, I don't think they could afford the rent and they vacated
Okay,
and left a bit of a mess in the property, but
okay.
it's like one out of the whole lot, you know. And it's an easy fix. I don't think it's bad.
And I think we spoke about this before. Was that property we
Yeah.
spoke before? So you like out of pocket like a month, 2 months rent or something?
Yeah.
on that?
It's
And
not bad.
Insurance going to cover it?
Yeah, insurance fixes it.
Yeah, that's right.
It's all good.
People would call me up. I've got people that, and no offense if it's you watching this, right? I've got people that are like, fuck, the tenant hasn't paid rent for 2 weeks behind, blah, blah, blah. Right? So, okay, there's processes in place, right? What's the worst case is going to be? Oh, they've got to pay their rent. Well, you know, let's just assess the situation and we'll force them to pay the rent, right? And you'll get the money. But the thought of it, people get scared about, right? Dylan's here just so calmly. He's like, yeah, didn't pay the rent for 2 months. And, you know, like, your energy isn't getting frustrated because you've got processes in place. Like, fuck, the insurance will cover it. We're cool.
Yeah,
Huh?
like it's no stress. Even like what happened in Townsville recently.
Yeah.
Like people were like, shit,
Yeah.
aren't you worried?
Oh, because of the flooding and stuff. Yeah.
And I was like, nah, like they're more
Yeah.
worried than me.
Yeah.
Nothing there.
Look, we've bought like maybe 500 properties in Townsville. If I had to take a guess, maybe 1,000. I don't even know how many properties I've bought in Townsville over the last 5 years or so. And we're not buying in Townsville at the moment because it's just gone all up too expensive, right? Like people, when I throw out a suburb, I'm like, cool, because it's like, it's too late, right? I'm not talking about the suburbs out there. But in Townsville, people are all scared and there was properties underwater and we didn't have any go underwater that, you know, that we bought. And I don't like buying things that are fundamental sort of bad properties, but, you know, there's good and bad in any location. But yeah, it's good. Like it was a good stress test, right? Because things are underwater, like it's a flood.
Right.
Yeah, everyone's all right, so it's good. You touched on it beforehand, like some areas became easy and some didn't. Would you say buying your 10th property is easier than your first, or your first is easier than your 10th?
In different ways. Like I feel like your first is always going to be the hardest because you really got to work hard to get it.
Yeah.
That's if you're starting from scratch, you don't have any property to pull equity on to start with. So first is hard in that way. Like you really got to grind it out.
Yeah.
And then the 10th is like, it changes. It's maybe not as hard to get the money, but it's like structuring it all properly and making sure, you know, you can keep moving forward afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like it would be more making sure your rents are all up to date. So you're getting the most income and servicing with the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a different, I feel like the first is still the hardest because like, for me anyway, because it was
a lot of learning,
grinding too. Like that $10 an hour sort of stuff, you know, like there's no decent income or anything. So you work all year for 50 grand. So it's like
the most recent 7 that you bought, like you didn't go, oh, here's fucking $1 million, Birchy. Let's go buy another 7. like that came from equity.
Yeah.
But I know the issues that you had with going, okay, we've got to get the loans. We had to go to one bank, refinance partial, then refinance again, not too far after. And yeah, that process, like people can't save 7 deposits in 2 months. Yeah.
It's not possible.
It's not possible, right? And it's come because you've made the decision 2 years prior to go, hey, we're going to pull the trigger and, do those ones that were the hard ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And out of like investors, I have some clients that'll be like, oh, I don't like that property. The kitchen's a bit smaller and I think it should be a bit bigger and tenants won't like it. And they get really fussy. And I'm like, you either need to change your mindset or you're not going to be a great investor, right? I've got people that are like, oh, what did I just buy? Right?
Yeah.
You're on that line, right? I'm like, fuck, what did I just buy? I didn't even see, right? I'll just take it, right? That's what I need. How do we make it happen? When I send you the properties and I send you all the, the information on what do you think when you see it and what do you like, how do you process that data? Because you got properties in, Perth and Queensland and, Sydney and all different locations. You don't know where the fuck's happening in Perth. You don't know. You probably haven't stepped foot in the locations of where I'm sitting here. How do you?
I've never seen one to this day.
Really?
One of these properties. I've not seen one of them. Sounds crazy, but
yeah,
it's the truth.
I got an investor at the moment, and it's cool. Like, I'm not saying it's just the opposite extreme. Every time I send a property, he's like, "Oh, I'll take it, but I want to go and inspect it this week." And I'm like, "Why do you want to inspect it for? Right? Like your flights are more than the It's $100,000, right? Why are we going and inspecting it? So it's cool that you're not emotionally invested. I'm not saying, what gives you confidence? Oh, Nathan said to buy it, but like when you see the paper, like the cash flow and the analysis that I send to you, like what do you think when you look at that? Like, do you like? How do you do do research on the back end, or you just like Nathan said it's good online?
I'll have a look around.
Yeah, okay.
Like see what else is in the area and compare it. Like do my own sort of due diligence.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't buy every single one that you send. I wish I could, but
yeah. I get upset. Like I look at them, I'm like, fuck, I want to buy everything I send down as well. It's like,
yeah, I do my own research, but it's all just like general stuff. I feel like you'll do if you're buying a property.
Yeah.
But just make sure the numbers work.
Yeah.
As far as like you're not too much out of pocket, maybe.
Yeah.
Or if you are going to be out of pocket, like is there a reason like down the path, like doesn't have high rent, but we'll pull the equity, like it's got good equity, like
what's it bringing to the table?
Yeah, like what's it going to do to the portfolio?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And overall, like, I haven't even asked you this question offline or anything, like how, like, do you feel like the portfolio's neutral, positive, negative? Like how do you, and if it's to one way or the other, is it by March? Or like,
right now?
Yeah.
With the current rates, slightly negative.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of investors will be negative at the moment.
Yeah.
But a few interest rate cuts will be all right.
Yeah.
I think,
Like you probably...
I'm not talking a lot of cuts to be like neutral. Like it's not much to be neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's after pulling equity and...
and then you service more again and the price will go up. So...
What do you think about it, right? Like you 320 grand in Sydney, renting for 520, that's mad, right? That's neutral cash flow, right? Like people go, oh, Dylan's full of shit, you can't buy properties for that price. Your 200 grand, 210 grand property, that's in Brisbane, that's like probably renting for 400, 420 a week, something like that.
Yeah. Imagine. I think recently we put it to 430 or 440.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
When you add those numbers up, like 10% yields, right?
Yeah.
I have people that look at my deals and they look at the cash flow. Like when I send it to them, like this thing's only positive $20 a week, and my interest rate's an extra 0.5% or 1% more than what you've quoted. That I don't like that deal. And it's like, well, if you just push the rent up, they're not looking at a month's time or 6 months or 12 months. Like you've taken a 280 to 520 or a 300 to 430 or whatnot. It's like that's the management and the taking care of that asset and the portfolio that's important. Like,
so. There was one cool property.
Yeah.
It was very under rented. The rent per week. And we took it over. I think it went up like $200.
Okay.
Like it was at 300 and we took it over, went to 500.
Wow, cool.
It was pretty crazy. Like it was, but that's just a bad agent, you know.
Yeah.
Prior.
Yeah.
Renting it too low.
People always ask me, and people comment, they go like, "Oh, you know, you can't buy properties below market value. You getting a deal that's cheap. Why would someone sell it?" And it's like, because there's bad agents out there. They're just shit. They don't know what they're doing, or they're lazy, or they just want to get a deal done, and that's what we look forward to. So, you said also beforehand, like, and I joked about it when you came to the office, and you're like, "Oh yeah, Zinger," like I speak to Zinger all the time. They're like my main point of contact. Like having a team around you, like you're in business, you have some staff. You have staff, or you don't? Yeah. Like if you had to go and do all the work yourself, you'd be at a quarter of the size of your business, or a fraction of the size. But having the staff will help you leverage and grow, and people bring different things to the table. How important do you reckon it is? Like, your accountant being a good accountant, your broker being a good broker, your property manager. How's that?
Yeah, it's good to have all the right people on board.
Yeah.
The same vision as well, like the same sort of goals. You know, everyone's in line.
Yeah.
So you need a good accountant, property managers. You know, making sure the rent's always up.
Yeah.
And taking care of the property if there's any major issues, you know, to fix.
Yeah.
Yeah, lawyer.
Yeah.
Solicitor. Yeah. There to protect you, I guess.
Has there been, he's just because I know when you did like 7 of them a hit, like it was chaos, right? Like it's like, fuck, we need an extension on this, we need an extension on that. Yeah. We can't move forward in this one, we'll have to replace it with another one. Has there been any like times where you go, the lawyers really stepped up and,
No, I've been lucky.
You've been lucky? Okay.
Yeah, I've been all right.
That's what I mean. Like the lawyers jumped in and made sure that it's...
As in my lawyer or the other one?
Your lawyer has had to go in and go, we'll just panel beat an extra 2 weeks here.
Yeah, no, so that's... Yeah, that's very often.
Very often, right?
Yeah, that's on a lot of things, but...
Out of all the properties, how many of them would you have had an extension due to finance on?
If I'm honest, I reckon nearly all. That's always I push so hard, you know, like I'm signing deals before finance is ready. Like, just like, hey guys, I need money for this.
Make it happen, right?
Find the money. Yeah.
It's not there. Well, we've got to find it, right? Like there's equity. I'm sure let's go back and pull equity from here. Yeah.
So it's always a push.
Like I've used different lawyers over the years. Stephen Sidorowski is my lawyer. He's been my personal lawyer for like 15 years, and he's been helping our investors. But like within saying that, when I say use other lawyers, like Stephen hasn't always been able to service in Perth or service in Queensland or Melbourne, but he services in Melbourne and Perth and all that. But I've seen other lawyers that have helped our investors, and they're like, "Oh yeah, cooling off period finish. I couldn't get it in date, cancel the contract." And it's like, that's not looking after the client, because then you lose your deposit, or not necessarily you lose your deposit, you get your deposit back, but then you've lost your pest and building on it, or you got to buy the next one that's more expensive, or Stephen's done a terrific job of holding that together.
He always bends over backwards. I use Stephen.
Yeah.
He always does his best.
Yeah.
I haven't had any like bad situation ever with Stephen. Like he's always
solid.
Yeah.
That's what we need, the good team. Like your accountant, I don't know your accountant at all, right? I don't know, like I've never met him. I've got no affiliation. It's not a part of my clients or anything like that. But like I see accountants just in general, right? This is just a feedback, random. Like accountants are like, clients will come to me. I got one yesterday who's got the shits, because he came on last year and couldn't do anything, and his accountants put him down as like 40 grand a year, right? And it's like the accountant's vision, like he's trying to save tax, right? Yeah. The accountant didn't go, okay, what's your goals? Oh, your goals, you need to do this. Okay, well, we'll make sure your tax return is in a certain way. And like a lot of accountants will just be like, let's try and save tax. That's what my client wants. They just assume you want to save tax. It's like, no, on the tax, but also want you to understand what my goal is, and be able to support that. And like you go to the guy in the shopping centre at the end of the escalator, $49 tax refunds, right? You're just going to get like fucking a crappy, you're in business, you need to do all your paperwork, and having those right people is very, very crucial. So,
it is.
Yeah.
It's funny you say this thing about the accountant, because my accountant's like, you're probably the only client that's like not looking for the deductions. Like I'm like, I want to make sure my income's like, I'm honest, you know, like I don't just add in all this random stuff to get a lower tax.
Yeah.
It's like people
are trying to
always like, oh, claim this, claim that. He's like, you're the only client who just wants to pay as much tax as he can.
See?
But like playing the long game, yeah. So.
And on that point, it's very important, right? Like you want to pay as much tax, like, because the tax, like, isn't like cutting tax. Like, you got depreciation schedules, you got ways that you'll be able to save tax along the way in your journey, but your goal is to build out the wealth, right? And it's not saving, $5,000 in a year to go, okay, I'll just squeeze that extra little bit of tax return out, which is
it's not worth it.
Yeah,
it's like save 10 grand, 20 grand, whatever in your tax.
Yeah,
but then also use the ability to go buy 4 more properties.
Exactly.
It's like I think you're going to make a lot more than 20 grand in those 4 properties.
The cost of sitting at the table.
Just the rent on one of the properties is 20 grand for the year.
Correct.
So it's like, yeah.
I really rate that.
I don't want to pay the tax, but
exactly. I hate paying tax, right? It's like
the bank sees it different. It's like it's like the more you pay, the more you can service.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. And like down to the property manager, right? Like the rents, and just think about it this way, like if I was just look at the whole portfolio, if you've increased all the rents by $50 a week and you got 17 properties and it's $850 a week in extra rent, and you said that you've doubled some rents and all that, so I'm just using that as an example, right? If your property manager didn't push the rent up by the $50, you wouldn't be getting $850 a week. You wouldn't be getting 40 grand a year in extra income. That 40 grand a year would hurt your servicing once again.
Yeah.
So everyone sort of coming together collectively, and
yeah, it's the whole team.
Yeah. I know that you've talked a lot about like the mental slog of it was I had to eat shit, fucking go to KFC, $10 an hour, get a job, IGA, wherever it was you're working, $10 an hour, $12 an hour, bugging it out. What were some of the things from a mental toughness perspective, right? Like that, for me in my early days, working in a job really fucking hard that I hated motivated me so much that that's not what my life and my story looks like. What kept you on track and going, oh, this is all too hard? We've all got mates that like we love and care about and went to school with or whatever, and they're like, oh, that seems too hard, whatever. What made you be different than 99% of the people out there? And factually, like I say, I can see you smiling, not 99%. Like everyone's got it.
Yeah, like generally at the time when I was younger, it's like no one else is on the same like mission, like no one wants to just, like at 16 who's talking about buying a property, like it's just not it's not talked about. But it's like the whole, when you start working, in my head I was like, this is so shit, how could you do this for 50 years? Like that's like that's the biggest driver, because it's like
that's
such a waste of life.
Like
that is like the actual
okay, so cool.
Like I'd rather just wake up, go to the beach, whatever, like have a family, and actually just live life the way it probably should be lived.
So Dylan's come to Sydney today. I asked him like, how long are you staying in Sydney? He goes, oh, when I leave Sydney, I'm going to go see my mates in the Gold Coast, right? And I know your mates in the Gold Coast, and they've got like cool cars and stuff like that. They've been investing. They've got like large portfolios, 20s, 30s, 50s, whatever. Like, I think you met them from like
mentoring
programs, And it's like, sorry.
Like you surround yourself with like-minded people or doing the same thing, you get along more, and it's cool.
They're more, if you have a bad day and you're like, I don't know, just hypothetically, you're down to the pub, I don't even drink, right? I'm just making it up, right? Down to the pub, have a drink. Oh, how's your week been? Oh, good, yeah. Things are tough. I've got to pay car rego this week. Oh, yeah. Well, how about you? Oh, things are pretty tough for me. I've got to pay fucking 17 council rates and 17 strata this week. And, it's mortgage week too, right? And payroll. It's like, so having those discussions, like with people, like you're isolated and.
Yeah. Now it's like, you hear people like, oh, got to pay the mortgage, or the council went up $100 this year. Yeah. Times 17. Like,
you're lucky, Dylan. Like, you're lucky. They'll be like that too.
Like everything's just, and as you grow, it's always, I can imagine for you, it's just like,
it just happens.
But it's part of the part of the journey.
always think, like, even if I get angry with something or something's annoying, I'm just like, put it in perspective. I'm like, I've got that big motel I'm doing in the Blue Mountains, right? The big one that I've been renovating for the last few years. It's nearly there. But I remember when I bought it for like cheap, and then I was like, it's got $2 million equity in it. And I was like, it was vacant for a few years, and it was like, I used to have it rented to like houses, like just like house commission was my tenant, and then it was big trouble, so I had to get rid of them. And that's why I'm running as a motel moving forward. But every time I got annoyed with that property, I was like, I remember once I was driving back, I was filling up my car. I was like, fucking piece of shit, right? I filled up the car with petrol. I'd only owned it for like 2 years or something. I was like, if I sold this now, I made $2 million. That's 40 years of someone's life on 50 grand income, right?
Yeah.
And it's bringing me in 400 grand a year income. And that was like a 20% return. I paid like less than $2 million for the site. I was like, and it was probably worth 20 million when I'm finished with it now.
Wow.
But I'm like, but at the time it was like tough. And I was like, if I just sold it today, it's like spitting me out maybe 200 grand a year positive as it was. But then I was like, if I sold it, I'd make like 40 years. I bought like this is a human life of wage. It's like I bought myself retirement just from that one deal. And it's like, when it gets tough, it's like just putting it in perspective.
Yeah. None of it like stresses me out. Like, I'm pretty calm about the whole thing. Like, there's nothing we can't solve. I feel like there's always issues, but like, there's, like I wouldn't say I ever have a week where there's nothing that comes up, but there's always like a way to get around it or solve it.
I think choosing your pain as well, right? Like everyone's got a problem. Like just because you've got some assets and you've got, cash flow and you've got a lot of equity and all that stuff, doesn't mean that you're not going to be immune to problems. It's just how do you deal with them, and the problems change and evolve. And it's like, I'd rather have my problems than have, my Woolworths, which one do I take, the nappies or the formula for the kid, right? It's like, which one do you choose? And, the problems that you have as an investor and building wealth is like, they're different. So, Cool. And future goals, like what's the end goal for you today? Like, do you have...
as far as like property?
Yeah, you said you wanted to get 20 by the end of last year.
Yeah. So I should hit that next few months, I'd hope.
Yeah. Attention zinger.
But this year, the goal was to have 30 by the end of the year.
Okay.
I mean, we set goals like it means you really got. I don't just set a goal like, I'll achieve it. It's like you got to really push to get it, and like if you don't get close, like you might get it, a few months after. Like, but I want to be pushing, not like set something. If I sit here and say, "Oh, it's all right, I'll get 20 next year," and just have 20, it's like it's very achievable. Yeah, you don't have to push. Like I like the push. Like when you achieve the goal, it's like, yes. Like,
what's next? So
30. I reckon 30 this year, but. Long term, I don't think 5-10 year into the future too much. Yeah, like you imagine stuff, but like as far as setting an actual goal, like I don't really have any like that.
There you go. I always feel like when I say that I'm going to do something, if I don't do it, I'm going to look like a dickhead. So like now you put it on video, everyone's going to be like, "Oh, he's selling 30 properties in another 12 months, right?" But it's like I think it's good when you put it out in the universe because like, okay, cool, like it solidifies it too.
You're like, accountable.
A funny story about the motels, when I bought that one in Cooktown, like I took a video. Do you remember the video I put up like a couple of years ago?
This one,
I was out there taking a video and I told my team I'll buy 10 motels just to put in a little group portfolio. And I was out there, numbers were flying through my head. I'm like, fuck, this thing's the best thing ever. It's going to give me like 100% return on investment per year, whatever. And then I was just taking a video of the site, excited and just sharing it off, going, oh, check out this thing. And I was like, I thought about it. I'm like, no, I need to up my game. Like my goals were too low. And I was like, I'm gonna get 20 motels a year for the next 5 years, and I get to 100. And then I gave the video, and then one of my staff saw it, and they're like, "You just said you're gonna buy 20 properties a year." Like fucking, like I just bought another 3, right? And I was like, when I put it out there, it's like it's out to the universe, right? And I'm accountable to it, and it was a big task. So I got to 30, and I'm like, fuck. Like, so I've taken a pause on motels. They're a different kettle of fish. I'll buy more, but at the moment, like that was a big feat. But it's like still, if I average over 3 years, it's like 10 a year. But it's like, it's like push yourself, right?
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
has there been, like, at each level of your journey and the challenge that you face with, do you feel like you've grown to a different level? Like, do you reckon it's taught you something? Is it teachings there you could share with others?
Yeah, I feel like you're always learning along the way.
Yeah.
It's just all different things, but like little challenges. Like, it's like as you get older, you know, even like if I get stuck with stuff, I come to you or the team, you know, they've always got like good advice because they've seen it so much. Yeah. But yeah, you just got to have a positive mindset around it all.
Yeah. Dylan, just from chatting to you about it today, the mindset's a really big thing, right? Because I see people and I think about like the success of what makes you different than another 25-year-old that has 150 grand saved up, that's at 2 properties, no properties, 4 properties, and for you to get there, and that mindset about, I've got to make it happen. Like, what do I need to do? Who's the person that needs to show up for this problem today? You're just saying like different ages, different stages of your life. Yeah. Like, it requires, like, I think, you know, throughout my life, I'm like, it's required each time I need to be refined and different, like, not just physically, but like mentally, who needs to show up to take care of this problem to get to the next level? And you'll find that person to get to 30, to get to 50. Yeah. And so on. So cool. And if you were talking to one of your mates just getting started today and you could give 1 or 2 or 3 tips to them, would there be some tips that you could share for today?
Yeah, I'd make sure like your first deal, like not just look at the first deal, look at like, how's this going to get me to 2, 3, 4? Yeah. Because like if you buy the wrong first 1 or 2, like you might get stuck. Like you want to make sure all the numbers are in line. Yeah. Like I've seen it, like I know some people like, it's like, oh, I got one, got some equity, can pull the equity, but they can't buy another one. Yeah. It's like, I think the first deal might have been
too much.
Like not like he could have had 2 or 3, but he got stuck at 1 and like can't buy the next one. Like, so it's cool. I look at it as a total asset as well. Like, you're stuck with 1 property worth 500K, but you could have 3 worth $1 million. Yeah. You know, like, and you're making the gain on $1 million, 3 rents. Like, Beautiful. It's like, you can only service what you can service, but
make the most of it.
Hold as much asset as you can hold. Yeah.
I'm really excited to see, like, because really your portfolio's like fresh, like it's 2 years. Like, people watch this go, oh, I bought my first house 20 years ago and I've got 3, right? And it's like, it's young guy, I've got to, you know, what's he doing, right? But imagine when your portfolio is 5 years on and you've pushed those rents another $100, and then when your rates have come down, you go, fuck it, we're going to lock them in today, right? We're going to get them at 2%. Like, yeah. So I'm really excited to see that pan out, or even if they just all double. Like, you got ones that are worth like 400 or 500 grand in that, but let's just say they're worth 200 grand. You got 17. There's like 3.4 million. Just making it up, right? 3.4. If that doubled, there's 3.4 million worth of new equity. What could you do if you had 3.4 worth of new equity today? What would that look like, right? So, So I'm excited for you on that. So
thanks. Yeah.
But I guess on that note, let's wrap it up there. Thanks for coming all the way from Melbourne to Sydney for a podcast, Dylan.
Thanks for having us.
Pleasure, mate, and congratulations. And when we get some more, I reckon we'll get him on the podcast another time. It's been fun chatting to you and hearing your journey. So, thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you need help, stuck, want help with your journey, whatever, hit us up, 1300-367-925, admin@binvested.com.au. Make sure that if you like this, to share it around, hit up the likes, leave us a comment, and subscribe every week. Google Play, Apple Play, Spotify, and YouTube. We'll catch up soon. Have a great one. Bye for now. Like Bilal said, man, we stuck in the matrix. This my advice, don't care if you take it.